The question is, how do I choose a cast on or cast off? And I cannot speak for anyone else. I will tell you that for me personally, there are two major factors in this decision-making process, and that's the functionality and the look of the fabric. Hey, it's Denise from loomhead.com. How about we start with an example? This is the seed stitch baby hat pattern, for which I wanted a flat top and I wanted it to be brimless. So hats, even when they're brimless, you do need to knit a brim. I decided to knit that last and to start my pattern at the top with the crown, and for that the drawstring cast on was my best choice. Don't confuse it with the drawstring cast off, which happens at the end of a project. So for this particular cast on, you would take your working yarn and you would feed it, well, you would zigzag the yarn through every other peg. In other words, you were using 12 up to 24 pegs in order to cast on. And the effect of doing that meant that when I pulled on the drawstring, I would be pulling on 12 stitches instead of 24 stitches for a more tighter, smaller opening that I would pull to make a flatter top. As you can see, the fabric is doing what I want it to do, and it looks the way I want it to look. Alright, so now for the brimless brim, what I do need for it to do is I do need it to stretch, and I do need a clean edge. And for that, the super stretchy bind off is a great option. Keeping in mind that this is not a how-to but a why video, I did want to show you a short clip of the super stretchy bind off so that you could see that it is doable, it's not that difficult, and that this is a great option for any type of project where you need your fabric to stretch. For instance, socks, boot cuffs, and other things of that sort. And this works good for a clean edge, even using a large gauge loom. And I'll give you a link in the description and the web post. So now let's take a look at another seed stitch project where you don't need this tight opening and you also don't need the fabric to stretch. It is a dishcloth which does need a clean edge, and for that we need to be able to tighten the loose loops that you get from the cast on. The cast on that allows this technique the best that I have found is to use the E-wrap cast on. It's the one most new loom knitters learn, and you're just going to wrap all of your pegs and then you're going to go back and knit off. This E-wrap cast on in combination with the modified basic bind off gives me clean square edges that are all the same, and that's what I'm looking for this project. And so here is the basic bind off, and again I will give you a link to that modified version in the description or at the web post. So once I'm done what I'm looking for here, you'll see that I have all four edges look the same, and that's what I'm needing, and that's how I decided on what to use for these two projects. So in order to decide a cast on and a bind off, unfortunately for many, you need to knit a swatch. And what is that? That's a small sample of your fabric that you're going to be making using the exact supplies that you're going to need for that project, so your loom and your yarn. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again, projects, not stitch patterns, determine how I cast on and off.